now, he dispenses joy as the happy coach. Growing up in a middle-income family, his parents inculcated in him that the definition of success was study hard, get a professional degree, secure a high-paying job, settle down, and start a family. But one day he asked, is that what being happy is all about? Who here has asked that question before? Is that what happy is all about?
Yeah.
Yes! So, would you like to learn strategies to build a happy organization?
Yes!
So the title of his speech is How to Be Unhappy, but he's going to show us how to find happiness in our life. So if we're ready, then give our happiest welcome to Yuan Tai!
Thank you, everybody. So I have 12 minutes to share my very short. I'll share with you a few stories. And hopefully from my stories, you can learn something about unhappiness and happiness. Now turn to your neighbor and tell him or her one thing that made you unhappy.
One thing make you unhappy?
What made you unhappy?
Never take my dinner.
Okay.
Really?
Thanks for sharing. Have you seen someone who looks happy on the outside, accomplished, well recognized in his or her field of expertise, seemingly happy, but deep inside actually unhappy? Most of us know that happiness is a choice. You can choose to be happy. But how many of us know that unhappiness is also a choice? Here are 3 things that we do to sabotage ourselves and make ourselves unhappy. So the first thing is focusing on what we don't have. Let's do it with me. Do some action. Focusing on what we don't have. So this was me in my first professional career as a pharmacist. Yeah, I seem to be happy there and with 2 wonderful interns. But my first choice was actually medicine. And I didn't manage to get into medicine because I flunked my interview. So I remember that day I was called up for interview by NUS Medicine, and of course I was serving the nation wearing my army fatigue with my backpack, and then I walked to the interview room. And one of the questions one of the professors asked, can you tell me about the recent development in the medical field? So I look at the professor. We have newspapers in the army. They give us newspapers, but we hardly have time to read. We use them to clean the white pages. So I flunked the interview, and I have a chance still because my parents, they saved enough father-mother scholarship. I could have applied to overseas to study medicine, but I chose not to. Focusing on what we don't have. I'm not sure how many of us resonate with that, but I was once like that. And I could have literally continued the rest of my life wondering what if, and what if. Second thing we do, living in the past. Yes, these are my results. Well, you can see my IC number. I purposely didn't hide it because the government says that IC number not secret nowadays. Okay, I was a straight A student when I was studying, and of course I went to the top schools in Singapore. But that actually meant that I could choose to live in the past, thinking that hey, I studied quite well, like straight A student, go to the best schools in Singapore, graduated from NUS, pharmacy, decent job. I could have lived in the past, and that would have hindered me from taking a leap of faith and one day firing my boss, saying I quit, or rather, boss, you are fired. I don't think anybody ever said that, but yes, living in the past. And of course, the biggest sabotage, listening to the haters. So do after me, haters. All the haters, all the talk, all the naysayers. When I was in school, I always tried to blend with the wall, hoping that the teacher will call me up and share and speak or act, do a part in a drama. Stage fright. Cannot command the butterflies to fly in a proper formation. And even when I fired my boss, I left a good corporate job as a pharmacist, earning a steady income, pretty recession-proof industry, because healthcare, everybody needs it. COVID, even more, people need it. And some of them say, hey, why do you give up? You're crazy, Yuan Tai is crazy. Good job, good pay, steady job. Why you go and decide to jump into entrepreneurship and start everything from scratch again? So listening to haters is another way that we sabotage ourselves. If I listen to haters, I wouldn't have fired my boss. I wouldn't be standing in front of you, wonderful audience, sharing my story today. And some of you wondering why am I carrying a backpack? It's actually pretty heavy.
So I have
Now it's time for me to put it down. It's time for you to put down the things that sabo you. How can we be happy? Do the exact opposite of the three things that I mentioned just now. So let's follow me. Let's say it together. Number one is focus on what you
don't have.
focus on what you have. So you don't have, now you focus on what you have. The second thing is focusing on, instead of focusing on the past, you focus on present, now. Exactly. Finally, the last one is ignore the haters. And let me share with you my story. So the first one is about focusing on what you have. What we don't have, throw it away. This is my grandma, my late grandma, she passed on. And there's two things she always said. Two very powerful words, of course. She's of a Hakka dialect, so she speaks in Hakka and Mandarin. She always tell me, Yuan Tai, 每次要记得说谢谢. Translated English, remember to say thank you. And that's really living in gratitude. That's the essence of focusing on what you, once again, focus on what you have. Yes. Being thankful for what you have, showing gratitude. And by doing so, we can prevent ourselves from being unhappy. Choose happiness. Live in the now, live in the present, not living in the past. So choose to take the opportunities that come along the way. Choose to make connections with people that you meet today, right now, in this room. The person sitting beside you, behind you, in front of you. Take some time, make connections. Take advantage of the opportunities given to us, all the aspiring speakers and all the speakers in this room. Take advantage of it, because once today go, it may never come back again. Once the opportunity passes by, it may never come back again. Finally, ignore the haters. So I love this quote by Waldo. Every minute we are angry, frustrated, we lose 60 seconds of happiness. So I'm the happy coach. People call me the happy coach. They ask me, oh, you like so happy, are you on drugs or high? The answer is no. I choose to be happy. I choose not to be unhappy. To wrap up with my story, to bring this all to a kind of close, this is why I fired my boss many years ago. So this was a photo taken on one of my mission trip to Philippines. The two beside me they are 3 boys, in case you can't tell, orphans. They have been sadly, they have been sexually abused. So my heart goes out to these people, and my mission in life is to build a school for less privileged kids. That's why many years ago I decided, if I stay in the corporate world, I'll be limited by time, and I can't devote myself fully to doing this. So I chose to be happy. I chose not to be unhappy. What would you choose today? Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to remember that whenever my kids say it's my fault that I'm happy, I'll say happiness is a choice. You're making the wrong choice, so go and study more.